Tammy did a good intro on this project. The Appalachian Community Grant was just an incredible opportunity for all of Appalachia. $500 million for the region. The DeWine Husted administration really made an emphasis that they wanted to invest in southern Ohio and Appalachia. And from the outset, we were excited and knew we had an opportunity. And so the story, before we get into a little bit of the project, really goes back something like 30 years, because I think the thing that I'm most proud of about this award is how much planning went into it to be ready to apply for an award like this and get what we got. 30 years ago, the community invested in a park plan. And so there are elements of that park plan that you'll see in what I'm going to present today. Something like 5 or 6 years ago, we started talking locally about the fact that we hadn't had a master plan in our community for Chillicothe in over 70 years. And so we said we need to invest in a plan to see where we're going, and we've done that. And so a lot of the elements that you'll see today, and what I want to do today is you've heard about the award. Commissioner Everson and I are going to talk some about collaboration. But the fun stuff, I think, for you today is to see where we are today. This is literally hot off the press, the progress that we're making on this project. And so let's be surprised at the first slide. And the second slide, we're skipping this one. Okay, so what this project, you can keep going, Tiffany. This project, while it was specific to Chillicothe, is really a regional approach. We knew and we know that when we bring jobs and interest to Southern Ohio, it benefits us as a whole in this region. Our city boundaries, our county boundaries, we all know people, as was mentioned earlier, that leave Ross County, leave Chillicothe to work other places, and we all know people come here to work. And so this project really incorporated not only the region that you see here, incorporating a stretch across Chillicothe and getting out of the city, but we want to draw people in to our city and then send them out to explore. It's an adventure that we want people to start here. And so what we had was concepts that have evolved over time. Keep going, Tiffany, I don't know what's going to be. So this is what the park looks like today. Previous concepts and designs, but I think what we knew was that we had an unfinished project, right? We had a product that we could complete and make better, and also really capitalize on the fact that for years and years, we've been trying to bring a World Heritage designation to our community and to Ohio, and so we were ready for that. And so what you see here is what came out of our master plan and application process. You see here a completed region of the park. And one thing we really want to lean into in this process, in terms of the park, is being respectful of passive space and active space. It's a concept in park planning that really utilizes space well. And so you see in the southeastern region we have active space. We want to activate. We want to draw people to the park. We also want to connect the park to downtown and make things flow. So what you see there is exciting things like pump tracks, skate parks, pickleball courts. Everybody loves pickleball. And an amphitheater. That amphitheater came out of the concept 30 years ago. And then the core of the project, which you see up towards the top, is the UNESCO World Heritage and Chillicothe and Ross County Visitor Center, right? We knew that there had to be a place, if people got off the plane in Columbus or drove from across the region, that they had to come somewhere, and we wanted them to come here first. Because I'll say this in this room, and I'll say this anywhere in the state, we've got the best site for World Heritage, and we want people to come here first, and they can go to Newark if they want to, they can go down near Cincinnati, but we want people here first, and that project, that's what we try to emphasize in that application, that project. The slide you see here is some of the concepts that evolved over time. This is, the theme today is collaboration. We worked really hard, looking back over the communication and the input that we got in the master plan, partnering with local and regional partners to figure out what it looked like if we really activated the park, drew people into the park and sent them out not only across the county, but also into our downtown and made a real connection. So what you see here is one of the outcomes of somebody we partnered with, which was the Chillicothe Ross County Farmers Market. Part of our application was the access not only to the park and to World Heritage and to tourism, but also to health, access to healthy foods. And so what we were able to do with this pavilion is have a year-round facility. The farmers market every year comes to us and says, where could we operate year-round? We think we could have so many more vendors if we could operate year-round. And so this is a pavilion that will be the new home of the farmers market in Chillicothe in the park, but it will also be able to be multi-use. So in the middle of the week, or let's say, for example, the Feast of the Flowering Moon, projects and events can work in and out of that and flow, and just an exciting pavilion. And so more progress here, surprise, surprise. Next slide, we've seen that one. Okay, so this is what we're looking at now. I know it's a little small for some of you to see, but in our collaboration, one of the things that's probably everybody in here has experience in is working with the federal government can be challenging. And one of the challenges that we ran into in the partnership with the National Park Service was their recognition and concern that sometimes federal facilities need to have a little bit of a silo around them. And so after the award and some modification on the project, we developed what we're calling a campus concept. So this is downtown here. And what we want is to be able to flow people in and out of the park on this active side of the park. And so you see the amphitheater here. This is the pavilion that we just saw here. And then right north of the pavilion is what we're calling the Visitor Center Annex. That's the place when the tour bus arrives and drops you off. That's the home of the National Park Service. That's the new home of the Convention and Visitors Bureau. That's the place where you get in, you see a couple displays that pique your interest, and then we send you off into the county to explore. Now, in the Armory, we will have an incubator for small businesses. We will have office space so people can collaborate, but we'll also have more expanded visitor center space so that you can do a little bit more exploring before we launch you off into the county. The final product here, which I think we've seen this slide before, but you'll see some modifications. You can see the concept of the campus flow towards downtown. The whole idea here is that we want to activate that half of the park, but the other half of the park, we're actually being respectful and increasing green space. We want there to be active space for active space and people who want quiet and nature in that passive space, really making a park that is complete and flows and works together well. So one of the concepts that you'll see, and it's hard to see here, but a bit of a road closure to add even more green space so we protect the nature space for folks. And actually, the end of this project will be even more expansion and green space for the community to enjoy. Outside, we think of this project in concentric circles. So the core is that visitor center concept. The next ring out is thinking about the amphitheater and protecting passive and active space. And then the final ring is thinking about traffic flow around the park and making sure that it is conducive and supportive to pedestrians and people to get around in an easy way. You see the most controversial part of the project is included here. A couple of roundabouts are proposed. The way I explain traffic flow or any project that the city does is that we set out with our goals first. Our goal for this project, as the governor and Director Mihalik instructed us, was to bring forward something transformational. And that's what the team pulled together as a group, something transformational. And then we go to data and support to say, what about this project makes sense? What can we pull off? What can we do with partners? And so when we talk about roads, we don't go straight to, hey, we need a roundabout. We go straight to, hey, we want a place where people can be safe, traffic can flow, and people can come in and out of downtown easily. And so when we look at the data and when we arrive at a solution, sometimes it might be a roundabout, sometimes it might be a stop sign, sometimes it might be nothing at all. But you can imagine the excitement when the team, and I think Jack's going to talk a little bit more of that collaboration project, but this is kind of the penultimate sort of conclusion of 30 years of planning. We arrive at an amphitheater that was proposed 30 years ago. And like I said at the beginning, I think the only reason we were ready to even apply for a project where we asked for $40 million was because we had years of planning and community support and engagement. It's only possible because of teamwork. And on that note, I think that's a segue. That's maybe my last slide, great. So this project from a core internal level, I think represents the best of Chillicothe and Ross County, because we were able to work with the county and the county commissioners in particular to pull together a proposal here that is something just, in my opinion, amazing for Chillicothe. But also, the county took the lead, the only county that was a lead applicant in this whole project, took the lead for the region and has just a number of projects under it and is supporting the region as a whole. This project would not have come to fruition at all if it wasn't for the commissioners, which is the same to say for many of the projects around from our surrounding counties. And so on that note, I'd like to introduce Commissioner Jack Everson to talk more about the collaboration.